In this lesson, we are going to create a new sequence or a new timeline and copy our not quite completed video over to it, kind of have it as a backup. And then we're going to take a look at how we can add motion to images using some animation. So at the end of the last lesson, we've got everything on our timeline, all of our images, the basics of our movie from beginning to end. And so before we go any further, because we're going to do some things that could potentially cause some harm to our images and just might make things a little difficult for us. We've got a nice base set up here. We don't want to lose it. So we're going to back it up. We're going to duplicate it, and then we can go in and do some experimentation. And so here's a way to do that. This is one of the beautiful things about Adobe Premiere Pro is that we can have multiple sequences or multiple timelines within the same project. And here's how we do that. So right now, our first timeline or sequence is called Lava Video 1. And so we're going to make a new one, and we'll call it Lava Video 2. It works like this. In the same location, I want to make sure that you can see this. Let me see if I can adjust the size of our screen a little bit, just to make sure that's down there. There we go. So right down here, we have our new item button, tool, and this is where we obtained our black video, but it is also where we can create a new sequence. So, once again, new item, sequence. And then some familiar choices come up, similar to when we first began the program. We have to make a choice, and once again, for this project, we're using Digital Video NTSC Standard 48 as it came up. We're going to do that. And then here we can give it a name. And we'll call this Lava Video 2. Click OK. And now we see we have, oh, I see we used your name on that too, so maybe you can do that. Well, in fact, we can fix that up real quickly. So we'll go ahead and do that now, and that'll become important when we do export our movie, because when we export it, it'll export it with this particular name, which will make things a little bit more streamlined, a little easier to make sure that we know it's your movie. Now, that's not a problem. All we need to do is find the sequence. In fact, what I would recommend you do, and we'll just go ahead and do it since we're here, is to go ahead and create a new bin. This organization is very important. A little bit later on, I'll show you that graduation video again, way back during our video introduction. And when a graduation movie was made, like last year, we had over 30 sequences. So it was really important to keep those things organized. So anyway, create a new bin, and then name it Sequences, S-E-Q-U-E-N-C-E-S, Sequences. And then what you can do with that is that here's that first sequence just sitting out here. You can see the little time indicator and the timeline, the different video tracks and audio tracks, and you just take and click and hold and just drag it into that bin. And there it is. And, you know, if you want, well, I can see that this particular first sequence, that second sequence I did, got buried into one of these folders. I got to go find it. There it is, right there. So I was clicked on a folder when I made that sequence, so by default it put it in there. I'm going to go and move it. Lava Video 2, I'm going to put it in my sequence bin. Call it a folder if you like. Drop the triangle, and I should have two sequences. And once again, you can rename it just like in Windows. Just click on the text and click at the beginning. And then, of course, put your name. Your name. Enter, and then you'll see the tab change right there. So there's our first one. There's all our work. There's the second one. And so I am going to show you another way to select everything on the timeline. The first way we did it is to click and hold somewhere above it or below it and just kind of put a rectangle around everything to select everything. That's a way you can do it. Another way you can do it is with the shortcut keys, and in this case the shortcut key is Control key, CTRL, and the letter A as in apple. Select everything. Now what we want to do is copy this. Shortcut to copy, hold down the Control key, press the letter C. Control C. Now it's waiting for you to paste it somewhere, so I'm going to go to our new timeline, hold down the Control key, and press the letter V, as in Victor. And there we go. Now we have a copy. There's our first one. Now we have a backup. Now you can decide to do this however you want. If you want to keep video 1 as your base, video that's in great shape, not being used, we're not going to do anything else to it, that's fine. It's probably the easiest way to do it. And so I am going to go over to Lava Video 2, and now I'm going to make some changes. So at this point, I would recommend that you pause the video and go ahead and do that. Just a quick review. This is where you create a new sequence. Accept those defaults, NTSC standard 48. Give it a new name. Your name, Lava Video. In this case, I'm going to say a 3 because I'm doing it a third time. Click OK. And there it is. And there it is there. Go back to your original. Control A to make a copy, or you can use the other method. Select everything. Control C to copy. Click on your new sequence. And make sure, by the way, make sure you're at time 0. If you're out here, it's going to paste it at that location. See that? Well, you can do that. And if that happens, it's not a problem. Just press Control A, select everything, and just move it back to 0. So go ahead and make sure you have that done, and then we will move on. Make sure that you're working on something other than your original video. For me, I'm going to start my work on video 2. I will, in fact, go ahead and conclude this video at this time and start up with a video number 7 to go in and talk about motion.